Dogs are truly amazing creatures, aren't they? They come into our lives, all fluff and big paws. They grow with us, sharing our ups and our downs. They don't ask for much, just a bit of tucker and a good scratch behind the ears. In return, they give us everything they have. Their loyalty is something fierce, a constant in a world that's always changing. They become more than just pets, they become family. They are our furry confidants, our shadow on a sunny arvo, and our warm comfort on a cold night. This bond is ancient, a tale as old as time itself, a partnership built on pure, unconditional love and trust. Meet old Tom, a bloke who loved the quiet life out in the Aussie bush, and meet Max, his scruffy, lovable Kelpie cross. Max wasn't just a dog to Tom, he was his best mate, plain and simple. Every morning Max would greet Tom with a wagging tail that thumped like a drum. They'd share a bit of toast. Max always got the crusts, of course. Then they'd head out to check the fences or just wander through the gum trees, enjoying the peace. Tom would talk to Max, telling him all sorts of stories and plans. Max would just listen, his intelligent brown eyes fixed on Tom's face, understanding every word, or so it seemed. Max was a special sort of dog, full of beans, but gentle too. He had a keen sense for things, that uncanny canine intuition. He knew when Tom was feeling a bit crook, even before Tom himself admitted it. On those days, Max would stick closer than a shadow, nudging Tom's hand with his wet nose. He'd rest his head on Tom's lap, offering silent support. He was a watchful guardian, always alert to any changes in his beloved owner or their surroundings. This quiet understanding, this unspoken language between them, was the heart of their incredible friendship. It was a bond forged in shared sunrises and quiet companionship, day in and day out. It's a funny thing how dogs just get us. They don't need fancy words or long explanations. They read our moods in the way we walk, in the tone of our voice, even in the way we sigh. Max knew when Tom was happy. He'd bounce around, sharing the joy, and he knew when a cloud passed over Tom's usually cheerful face. This deep connection, this almost telepathic link, wasn't something Tom thought about much. It was just there, a comfortable and reassuring part of his everyday life. He couldn't imagine a day without his loyal Max by his side, his steadfast four-legged companion. One bright Tuesday morning started just like any other for Tom and Max. The kookaburras were having a good laugh in the old gum tree. The sun was already warming the dusty track leading away from Tom's small cottage. After their usual brekkie, Tom grabbed his hat. "Come on, Maxie boy," he called. "Let's go for a bit of a wander down to the creek." Max, ever eager, was already at the door, tail going like a metronome. They set off, Tom whistling a jaunty tune, Max trotting happily beside him, sniffing at every interesting scent along the path. The air was fresh, and the sky was a brilliant blue. They'd walked for a fair while, maybe a couple of kilometers from the cottage. Tom stopped to admire a mob of kangaroos grazing in a nearby paddock. Suddenly a sharp pain shot through his chest, making him gasp. He clutched at his heart, feeling a strange tightness. "Just a bit of indigestion, mate," he mumbled, trying to reassure himself as much as Max. But Max knew something was wrong. He stopped his sniffing and looked up at Tom. His ears perked, a worried look in his doggy eyes. He whined softly, nudging Tom's leg. Tom tried to wave him away, saying, "I'm all right, boy, just need a little rest." But Tom wasn't all right. The pain intensified, and his legs suddenly felt like jelly. He stumbled, his vision blurring at the edges. With a groan, he collapsed onto the dry, crackly grass by the side of the track. He lay there struggling to breathe, a terrible fear gripping him. He was a long way from home and there was no one around for miles. No one, except for his loyal Max. He tried to call out, but only a weak whisper escaped his lips. The sun, which had seemed so friendly moments before, now felt harsh and unforgiving as he lay there, helpless and vulnerable. Max was instantly by Tom's side, licking his face with frantic concern. The dog whined again, a low, mournful sound deep in his throat. He nudged Tom's arm, then his face, as if trying to wake him from a bad dream. He could sense the seriousness of the situation. His master was in real trouble. Max circled Tom, barking a little, then lay down beside him, pressing his warm body close. He looked around, scanning the empty bushland, his intelligent eyes darting back and forth. He knew with that incredible instinct dogs possess that he had to do something, and he had to do it fast. Tom needed help, and he was the only one who could get it. A wave of panic washed over Max, but then something clicked in his doggy brain. He knew he couldn't just stay there. Tom needed more help than he could give by just licking his face or nudging his hand. He remembered the way back to the cottage, every twist and turn of the familiar track. He also knew the track led past their nearest neighbour's farm, the Peterson place, though it was still a fair way off. He gave Tom one last worried lick on the cheek, as if to say, "Hang on, mate, I'll be back." Then, with a determined bark, he turned and bolted. His paws pounded the dusty earth as he began his desperate race. Max ran like the wind, his lithe body stretched out, ears flattened against his head. He didn't stop to sniff at interesting smells or chase after rabbits as he normally might. His only thought was to get help for Tom. The sun beat down and his tongue lolled out, panting hard, but he kept going. He ran faster than he'd ever run before, driven by a powerful mix of fear and loyalty. He knew every shortcut, every little path through the scrub. He had to reach someone, anyone, who could help his beloved master. He was a small dog with a very big mission, and he wouldn't give up. As he neared the Petersons' farm, Max started barking. Not his usual playful yaps, but loud, urgent, insistent barks that carried on the still air. He spotted Mrs. Peterson in her garden, tending to her roses. He veered off the track, straight towards her, barking continuously. Mrs. Peterson, a kind woman who knew Tom and Max well, looked up, surprised by the frantic noise. She saw Max alone and clearly distressed, and her heart skipped a beat. She knew straight away that something must be terribly wrong with old Tom. Max wasn't the sort of dog to make a fuss over nothing. Max reached Mrs. Peterson and began to whine and paw at her legs. Then he'd run a few steps back towards the track, look back, and bark again. He was clearly trying to tell her something, to get her to follow him. "What is it, Max? What's wrong, boy?" she asked, her voice full of concern. Understanding dawned on her face. "Is it Tom? Is Tom in trouble?" Max let out another sharp bark and ran a little further down the track, then stopped, looking back expectantly. Mrs. Peterson didn't hesitate. She dropped her gardening gloves, called her husband, and they quickly followed the desperate dog back into the bush. Following Max's urgent lead, the Petersons found Tom lying by the track, pale and barely conscious. Mr. Peterson, quick thinking, immediately used his mobile phone to call for an ambulance, explaining the remote location. While they waited, Mrs. Peterson did her best to make Tom comfortable, talking to him gently. Max stayed close, nuzzling Tom's hand, his tail giving a hopeful little thump when Tom's eyes flickered open. The paramedics arrived with impressive speed, navigating the rough track thanks to Mr. Peterson's directions. They quickly assessed Tom, realizing he was having a severe heart attack. They stabilized him and carefully transported him to the waiting ambulance. At the hospital, the doctors worked quickly. They later told a recovering Tom that Max had undoubtedly saved his life. If help had arrived even half an hour later, it might have been a different, tragic story. News of Max's bravery spread through the small, rural community like wildfire. When Tom finally returned home, weak but on the mend, Max was there to greet him with joyous barks and happy licks. There were plenty of extra pats, cuddles, and his favourite meaty treats for the heroic Kelpie. Max didn't understand all the fuss, of course. He had simply done what any loyal dog would do for their best mate. He was a true hero, a little champion. This incredible story is a powerful reminder of the extraordinary bond we share with our canine companions. They are so much more than just animals. They are sentient beings with deep emotions and remarkable instincts. Max's quick thinking and unwavering loyalty in the face of a crisis showcase the profound depth of a dog's devotion. He didn't need training to know his owner was in peril. His love and instinct guided his brave actions. It makes you think about all the quiet ways our dogs look out for us every single day, often without us even realizing their silent vigilance and care. The tale of Tom and Max inspires us to cherish these amazing animals in our lives. Their love is pure, their loyalty absolute, and their courage often boundless. They ask for so little in return for the immense joy and companionship they bring. A dog's friendship is a precious gift, a steady, unwavering presence that enriches our days. Max, the clever Kelpie cross, wasn't just a good dog, he was a lifesaver, a furry guardian angel. His story reminds us to never underestimate the intelligence, bravery, and loving heart of a dog. They truly are humanity's best friend and a hero in every sense of the word.